Hey, this is your hillbilly historian coming to you from the hills of East Tennessee, part of Appalachia. And today I want to talk about America, frontiersmen. You know, those guys that went out in the woods and built a log cabin, raised families, fed their family by hunting, fishing, gardening, farming, ranching, the early American frontiersmen. Now, these frontiersmen defeated the greatest army in the world to win their independence from Great Britain. Great Britain sent armies over here. Shouldn't have had any problem with their largest navy in the world, greatest army in the world. They didn't have a bit of trouble defeating Africans and Indians over in India, Orientals, but those frontiersmen, Englishmen who came over here, decided they wanted to be free from the crown, and better they done it. Now, the frontiersmen developed tactics that the British couldn't handle. Military tactics that the British frowned upon and could not handle. Frontiersmen also developed technology. Now, a technology that was advanced on the frontier was actually developed in Europe. This was rifling, making a rifle instead of a musket. A musket is a smooth bore, accuracy of about 50 yards. It's like throwing a knuckleball in baseball. You don't know where the thing's going to go. When you fire a round ball out of a musket, a smooth bore musket, you don't know where it's going to go. But Europeans would mass men with muskets, shoulder to shoulder. Some squatting down, some kneeling, some laying flat on the ground, some standing. So that you had 3 rows of muskets firing simultaneously. And they could fire about 3 rounds a minute. You know, a good trained soldier could fire about 3 rounds a minute. And if you got thousands of men packed in together firing these muskets, 3 rows of muskets simultaneously, at 50 yards, you're going to do some damage. Because you're going to have musket balls flying all over the field. But anyway, but the frontiersman, since he had to hunt, Europeans looked upon rifling as a poacher's weapon. And the military frowned upon it. Like the military frowned upon machine guns. They thought machine guns were a waste of bullets. You know, you have one soldier firing 1 bullet at one enemy, you get 1 kill. Machine gun, fire 1,000 rounds, you might get 2 or 3 kills. You know, they didn't think about like in World War I, when you got thousands of kills, 6,000 a day for 4 years. You know, but early on, they looked upon rifling as a poacher's weapon. And that was a man who hunted illegally in the king's lands, looking for food for his family. And it was illegal to do that. But in the frontier in America, it was legal. So the rifle became the standard because 1 shot meant food on the table. You did not want to miss. You wanted to hit that deer or that turkey or that squirrel or that rabbit. You wanted food on the table. You could not afford to miss. So they used weapons that were accurate at long ranges, and rifling was one of the technological advances that the frontiersmen adopted. The other uh, technological advance was the thing called patching, where the frontiersman would wrap a little square piece of cloth around the bullet before he ramrodded it down into the barrel in front of the powder that he had just poured in there. And this patching prevented gases from escaping from around the bullet, giving it greater velocity coming out of the barrel. And with rifling, there would be a spin on that ball, and that kind of physics gave that ball greater accuracy at 3 and 4 and 5 and 600 yards. Most Americans could hit a man at 600 yards. They could hit a man in the head at 300 yards. They were exceptional shots. The tactic the frontiersmen learned was to fight like Indians. Don't stand out there in the open. You know, Richard Pryor did a comedy on TV one time where he was like an American standing in line with a bunch of Americans and a bunch of British about 30 yards away. They were standing in a line, and Richard Pryor had aimed and fired. He missed, and he ducked, and Britain missed, and so he was beginning to load his rifle, and he saw the Brit was a little bit ahead of him in loading, so he really hurried up to get off of the shot before the British did. And it was Richard Pryor used to do a lot of funny stuff before he got on drugs and set himself on fire there in Hollywood. Almost killed himself. But the Americans learned to hide behind stacked bales of cotton, behind walls, behind brick walls, behind trees, behind banks. They learned to hide and give the enemy a smaller target. And with their great accuracy, any Briton with those bright red coats, that was like a target walking down the field, you know. And they just picked them off. The frontiersmen in New England, especially the northernmost parts of New England, defeated the British invasion from Canada. The southern frontiersmen down in Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina defeated the British down there using Indian tactics and frontier technology. But that was it. The rifling is a groove cut in the barrel that caused the bullet to spin as it came out of the barrel. It gave it a spin. And those physics would allow that bullet to travel at a greater range with patching, gave it greater velocity, greater range, and greater accuracy because of the spin. And frontiersmen were able to hit their targets with greater effectiveness than the British. So there you go. The frontiersmen, that's how they defeated the greatest army in the world with their little muskets they call Betsy. Smoothbore musket, had no accuracy at all. Andrew Jackson in New Orleans, War of 1812, the Battle of New Orleans, he put his men behind bales of cotton, put their cannon behind bales of cotton. The British came marching across these open plains And there were targets. And when they weren't attacking, the Americans would climb up in trees and pick them off around their campfires. Because they could shoot from 500-600 yards away, and they could jump down out of the tree and be back behind the bales of cotton before the British could run them down. Amazing, amazing technology, tactics that the frontiersmen had over the English, fighting by the book, by their book, the European book, the Napoleonic methods. Joplin and those guys adopted these massed tactics. In fact, the British had a thing they called the square. A bunch of men massed in a square. Heavy cavalry could break those squares up. But Wellington at the Battle of Waterloo put those squares on a hill with a real deep ravine in front of them. And Napoleon could not see that ravine in his spyglass. And when his heavy cavalry charged against the British squares to break them up, they ended up down that ravine in a deep hole, not without any effectiveness at all. So Wellington and his British squares, with the help of the Germans arriving just in time, were able to defeat Napoleon at the Battle of Waterloo. That's when they sent him off to an island where they poisoned him to death. The British poisoned Napoleon to death. That's how he died. They put arsenic in his food till it killed him. Evil British. You gotta be careful out there among them English. They're evil people. Americans are made up mostly of English, and the English are some badass people, buddy. But anyway, the English in America, the frontiersmen were able to defeat the English from Europe because they were still stuck with this musket type out in the open fighting, whereas the Americans adopted new technology, rifling and patching, and fighting like Indians, using cover so that you present a very small target to your enemy. But anyway, this is your hillbilly historian coming to you from the hills of East Tennessee, talking to you about American brilliance, American tactics, American technology. We're the greatest. Good day.